Hey YouTube. So I've been asked to do kind of a commentary or a comparison of all the various shades of Burgundy Shell Cordovan that are out there. What you're looking at in front of you are basically Allen Edmonds and Alden, and then I also have one Rancourt Shell Cordovan boat shoe on the far right front there. But basically this is, I think, one half of each pair of all the Burgundy Shell Cordovan shoes I have. So I'm going to start kind of in the back and do a quick zoom here. So these are actually a fairly old pair of wingtips. These are Alden wingtips on the Aberdeen last. Nice wingtip design. I say fairly old. I don't know. I bought them and they had been worn at that point, although very slightly worn. And I must say that these are the softest of all the Shell Cordovans that I have. I would estimate that they're probably about 5 years old, and I wear them only in poor weather. They actually have the rubber sole on the front that was applied by a cobbler. Right next to them is a much more recent vintage saddle shoe, also by Alden. And this is also an example of a shoe that I wear in bad weather. And the entire sole is done with a toppy, is what that's called. Next to that, I've done a separate video on these. These are just the Blucher boots that are available from J. Crew. These are about 3.5 years old at this point. I only wear them in the winter. I don't typically put any overshoes over them, and there's a good view of kind of how I do beat them up. But I still think that they look pretty darn good. And by the way, I didn't do anything especially different to prep these for this video. I really just went into my closet and grabbed all the Burgundy Cordovan shoes I had. Next to the boots is my McNeil's, and these are the oldest. I should say the ones I've had the longest. This is really what got me into Shell Cordovan. Again, I've done a separate video about those. Interesting how brown those look when you compare them next to the number 8 Alden that are next to them. Next to the McNeil's here, we actually have a Cambridge, which is about 2 years old. I haven't done a video yet on these, but I will. And these are pretty phenomenal shoes. I really like these. I really use these infrequently, but I do wear them, as you can see, and they're really a phenomenal shoe. I like the different shades of Cordovan that these exhibit, and the matching the other shoe to make the pair has almost the exact same coloration on the same pieces, which is really kind of cool. Next to that are the leads, which I have done a separate video. These are, again, the number 8 Shell Cordovan that come from Horween's factory. Pretty much nothing done to them by Allen Edmonds at the time these were made. These days, Allen Edmonds actually does apply a darkening agent, which is, there's an example of it here. These are Park Avenues, and these are much more recent vintage. Burgundy is what Allen Edmonds calls them, Burgundy Shell Cordovan. And what happened is, I think about 1.5 years ago, Allen Edmonds decided to change the way that they treat their Burgundy shoes. And the Park Avenue here is an example of that. They started darkening them more like what Alden does. So that's an example of it there. Skipping to the front row here, we have the Allen Edmonds Bradley, which is a nice NST Blucher. Photo Tristan called me out and told me I was pronouncing that wrong, so I'll pronounce it both ways. So this is really nice stitching on the front. Again, I wear these pretty regularly. I will say, of all these shoes that I have, including the black shoes, which I'll do a different video of, and my brown shoes, which I'll do a separate video of, these are the ones that welt the worst. But if you look at the toe here, it's really not too bad. And by the way, what I'm talking about when I say welt, when you're walking out in the rain or you drip some water on them or something, they actually raise up very slightly, and then it takes some work to get those back out. And basically what you have to do is to wipe them down with a pretty wet rag, and then brush them, and that seems to get rid of the problems. But if you do look, again, my old Alden, newer Alden, very much a brownish hue to these Allen Edmonds as far as coloration goes. Next to them is another Allen Edmonds. These are called the Randolph. Again, a very nice shoe. I like the stitching in the front. It's basically a full strap penny loafer. If you look at the design there, wear them pretty regularly, especially in the summertime. And that's an important point too. A lot of times in the winter I'll end up wearing either my boots or the shoes that I have sort of dedicated to poor weather, which are those back four in the back row, along with a few others that I haven't yet done videos on. And my others that way stay pretty nice. Next to the Randolph, we have the Alden version of the same shoe, also in their version of Burgundy or number 8 Shell Cordovan, and you can really get a sense for that eggplant dye that Alden puts on theirs. And you get a sense for the difference in the last shapes too. If you look how pointy that toe is on the Alden as compared to the Allen Edmonds. The Alden is a little bit wider, it seems, at the ball of the foot, coming to a pointier tip here. Next to that, and by the way, these are on the Aberdeen last. This is actually a size 11.5E. They fit me pretty well. Next to that is a tassel loafer on the same last, also by Alden, but in a different size. This again is that number 8 eggplanty Shell Cordovan. This one is a size 12D as opposed to an 11.5E. Very similar. I just find actually that the 11.5E fits me a little bit better, so I may be looking to replace these when an opportunity arises to get a pair in an 11.5E. Next to that is the Patriot, which is, again, not a full strap, but a partial strap, penny loafer. That is made by Allen Edmonds, and this is also during the time that Allen Edmonds was trying to change the color of their number 8 Shell Cordovan shoes, as opposed to just leave it in the native Horween color. So it's a very nice shoe. I don't wear it nearly enough, but I've had it now for about 2 years. And then finally, the least formal out of all these is the boat shoe. And these are actually made for Brooks Brothers by Rancourt. And my understanding is that Rancourt actually took over the Allen Edmonds hand-stitched factory, which is in Maine, here in the United States. And so if you actually look at the printing on the inside of the shoes and so forth, they're going to look very similar to an Allen Edmonds shoe. And what's cool about these, I don't usually show the insides of my shoes, but I thought I would here. You get a partial stamp there. They're completely unlined. I don't know if that's going to come through on the video. But they're nice and cool and lightweight in the summertime. I'm trying to get the inside. They're completely unlined with the exception here in the heel. So really kind of cool. But I just wanted to do a kind of an overall video, show the differences in shades in Burgundy Shell Cordovan. So hope you enjoy. I anticipate I'll be doing another video in the next few weeks with browns, and then one with blacks, and then I may do an overall style, such as, Blucher or Blucher versus short wingtips, those kind of things. So anyway, hope you enjoy. Leave comments and questions, and I'll attempt to get to them. Thanks.